Aloha and welcome to Remote Promote. For those of you joining us for the first time, Remote Promote is a project that was created with the intention of supporting business owners and entrepreneurs with the online communities, and that the online community would be surprised and delighted with the talents and treasures that they have found here. And today, I'm so excited to introduce to you my friend Laura Reid. Welcome, Laura, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Maureen.
It is my pleasure. And for those of you who haven't met Laura, Laura grew up with a stutter and she was paralyzed to speak in public. She had social anxiety, so she's an unlikely international keynote speaker and public speaking coach. However, this is what makes her uniquely aligned to help others overcome their fear, empower their voice, and to tell their most authentic stories. She's taken top honors in speech and storytelling contests and has helped countless business owners and companies amplify their impact through the use of public speaking and storytelling techniques. She lives in Waimea on the Big Island of Hawaii with her husband and teenage son. However, she has traveled the world speaking at conferences and sharing her message on the power of storytelling. Since the pandemic, Laura is hosting online trainings on how to remain captivating, engaging, and inspiring while speaking virtually. She's the founder of Storyforth and the creator of the Speakeasy School, and you can access this school online. We'll include this in the chat section. She also has free virtual public speaking classes, which we'll also include. So, wow. And I just want to give a personal testimony, but we can talk about that in a moment. But anyway, Laura, share with us, what is it that you do?
I help people, first of all, overcome their fear of public speaking. 77% of our population has a fear of public speaking. And that is greater than fears of things that can actually harm you, like spiders, heights, even death itself. People would rather die than speak publicly. So I help them not only overcome that fear, but also tell their story and currently learn how to speak in this new virtual reality that we're all finding ourselves in.
That's great. And wow, what sets you apart in this industry? How do you uniquely solve this challenge for your clients?
What sets me apart, I would say, is an empathy for my clients. Every technique, every method that I share with them, I have personally lived myself. I have tried it myself to make sure it actually works because I've also related to that fear. I have grown up with an extreme fear of public speaking, as you mentioned, and a stutter where I literally could not find my voice. We think of that often as a metaphor, but for me, I was not able to even say my name out loud. And that kind of embarrassment, I would say, and a humiliation that I experienced as a child, growing up that way, it's really hard to undo that damage. And so a lot of that shame that I felt carried into my adult years, even just 10 years ago, it was still very much with me. So it has taken me so much research and trial by fire to overcome my own speaking fear. And so I know it can be done. If I could do it, honestly, anyone can do it. And I also know the flip side of it now for how empowering it is, especially standing up before an audience and sharing your story and knowing that that story is helping others now. There's nothing like that in the world for me. And so I really love to help other people feel that same feeling that I have.
That is incredible. And I am just, every time I hear you speak, I'm just like, how did you come from where you said you came from and where you're at now? Like worlds apart. Like that's
Mm,
incredible. And so I love your courage and your just willingness to help other people given where you came from. That's really beautiful.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I found that, courage is not so much, we think about courage as overcoming fear, But to me, it's more about acknowledging what your fear is, like not thinking so much of it as an enemy or a villain in your story, but more really identifying what it is and then doing the thing anyway, right? Even though you're scared. And in truth, I'm in a speaking competition on this Saturday. And in truth, yeah, I'm like a little anxious about it. It's a little scary. And yet I'm going to do it anyway. And to me, that's the important thing, is not letting things stand in your way and not making obstacles when they don't really need to be there.
Yeah, it's so great. Would you mind just sharing with us your journey on your last speaking engagement that you went to out of the country?
Yes. Let's see. Do we have about 2 hours? So, I'll
Right.
shorten it down. Yeah, I was really honored to be invited to be a keynote speaker and speak at a couple other conferences as well in Bali, Indonesia. I left Hawaii, where I live, on my birthday on March 3rd. And I remember thinking as the plane took off and I'm looking down at dawn over the islands, it was a beautiful day. And I had this journey stretched out in front of me. And I do remember thinking, this is going to be the best year ever, right? I have got all my ducks in a row. I'm accomplishing my goals. I'm going to be this international keynote speaker, which I hadn't really done before. It would be my first keynote. And I was super excited. Like, what could go wrong? Right. And then a few weeks later, it's like the world just like flipped over and I felt myself just dangling from it. And all of my goals, everything I had lined up, just like melted away before me. And not only that, but when I decided I better just try to get back home right now to my husband, my 15-year-old son, my home here. When I tried to do that on the day I did that, I tried to change my plane ticket back home. It was astoundingly apparent in a really devastating way to me that it could not be done at that time. And the longer I waited, the harder it seemed to get. And so I ended up sharing a little house in the middle of a rice field with the directors of the conference, two men, both named Vladimir. And we became a family for 123 days. We were stranded together in Indonesia. And really during that time, for me, it was a very transformational time, as you can imagine. But professionally speaking, everything I had lined up switched to speaking virtually. And in fact, I was going to be in some speech contests as well, and they still took place, but it was all going to be virtually. And I hadn't really done a lot of that yet. I am someone who feeds off a live audience. I love feeling the energy of that room, right? That was something I had become really comfortable with. And then that was taken away from me, and all the techniques that I'd kind of honed for that environment. And suddenly I had to speak into the screen as I'm doing now and learn how to do that and still be engaging. And that has been an amazing journey where I've really learned what works, what does not work. Some of it, I've learned the hard way. But I love helping people with that now as well, learn how to speak in this way, because I believe, and I know it to be true, that we can still have meaningful connections. We can still share our stories in powerful ways, even in this realm. And it's more needed than it ever has been. So I see that as such a gift right now, really, because we can connect with people from all around the world without traveling in ways that we really couldn't before. So the whole world is very accessible to everyone as a speaker right now. Long story short, I made it back home on the 4th of July, and I'm super grateful to be home, and I'm not going anywhere again anytime soon.
Oh gosh, you are the master of creating lemonade from lemons. I love
Oh.
that. Stories inspired so many people along the way. And for those of you who maybe not have not yet worked with Laura, I can tell you personally, I went to Laura when I was going to a speaking engagement early in March and had her coach me. And she masterfully and artfully pulled a story out of me that I actually didn't want to tell because of my shame attached to it, and did it in a way where I delivered the speech giving her coaching. And there was probably 33 people in the room, and everyone wanted to hear more about what I did so that they could get help. And I'm clear that it was a direct result of Laura's coaching with me, because I wouldn't have delivered the same speech had I not worked with her. So she has a way of helping you pull your story out, which she called Storyforth. It's actually true. Like, she pulls the story out of you, maybe the one that you weren't aware of, or maybe were uncomfortable telling. So that's been my experience with Laura. I highly recommend her. She's phenomenal, very gifted. So that's my testimony for you, Laura. Um,
Thank you. Thank you for
you know,
sharing that. It was such an honor. I believe that everyone has a story to share. And as you said, sometimes it's those stories that we've hidden away from everyone for a long time, the ones that we might be a little ashamed of, even that allow us to be vulnerable. Those are our most powerful stories.
mhm.
And so it took so much courage for you to do that. And you were scared, but you did it anyway. And that was really a beautiful thing. And I know you inspired so many people that day.
Oh, thank you. What successful tips do you have to offer business owners at this time?
I think the most important thing, and a quote just popped into my head, so I'm going to share it right now from Joseph Campbell. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I
Mm,
find that right now we have a lot of fear, right? And there's a lot of places that we might not want to enter right now. We might easily say, you know what? I'm just not going to speak. I'm just not going to share my story. I'm going to wait. It's not comfortable right now for me. But doing so, entering that cave, telling your most vulnerable story, that's where the treasure is. And the most powerful thing that I've discovered is that once you find that treasure, for me, it was finding my voice and telling my own story. The true gift is not for you, right? That treasure is not yours to keep. The
mm,
true gift is in giving that treasure away. And so I think when you take the emphasis off of yourself and think about how stepping into that cave is going to help someone else, doing the scary thing is going to help someone else, it's even more empowering than to see that happen. And it creates such a ripple effect, just like as Maureen is doing now with this series with Remote Promote. It's not really about her, it's about how she's helping others, and then they're helping others because of that. So my biggest advice is to like enter that cave, like see what's in there, and as far as speaking goes, it is always scary. It is scary to put yourself out there in front of people, no matter who you are, no matter how many times you've done it. You'll never be perfect. There is no perfection. So I think releasing yourself from that idea and doing it because you know you have something to say, a message that is going to resonate with other people to inspire them. If you put the emphasis on that, and just enjoy the process of being present and being able to do that and share your voice, I think that is such a gift. And I do believe everything is a gift.
mm. I love that. I just, talk to you forever. Just in wrapping up, Laura, do you have any special offerings for the online community at this time?
I do. I have an online virtual school. It's called the speakeasyschool.com. I believe it will be in the chat. And I have a bunch of mini courses and some longer courses that I put up there. Pre-pandemic, I was charging some money for some of those courses. When the pandemic hit, it occurred to me that some of these courses could really help people, help them grow their business through learning how to tell brand marketing story, the story of why they're doing what they do, also stories that will just help other people be more inspired to take action to support their mission and their business. I decided those classes are just really important. So right now I am still offering all of them for free. At the time, I think I had said, like, I will offer these as long as the pandemic is around. And I was thinking maybe it'd be like a month or two, but here we are, it's still happening, but I need to hold true to that offer. So you can take advantage of that now. Once you enroll in a course, it's there for life. So you can watch it whenever you want. It's very introvert friendly, I like to say, where you don't have to interact with any other people. It's just you in that personal class for you.
Thank you. Thank you. The classes are wonderful. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of them and really great tips. So thank you for that generosity. And thank you for joining us. It's been so delightful.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, truly.
Yes. And for those of you watching that are interested in participating here with Remote Promote, we would love to hear from you. Or if you know somebody that would like to participate, please contact us as well. And until next time, aloha.
Aloha. Thank you.